Yep, that's what it was. What's up, everyone? You're tuned into episode 119 of Three Questions and a Song, the podcast and show where the title says it all. With me tonight, I have Lago, and I'm going to let you tell the listeners and the viewers a little bit about yourself. Um, as a artist, you go by the Spikes.
hmm
Can you tell us a little bit about the Spikes?
Yeah, so um uh, yeah, so I mean I'm is so yeah, so the Spikes is my alias, you will know a name. Um I started the Spikes project a bit after I broke up with my first, a band. I started to kind of write songs. And and I kind of just got into um and I kind of just got into a more of a separate scene. These so I was um no the Spikes sort of started off as a a solo, a project. It was something that I have been kind of wanting to do for a bit. I was creating songs, after my first, band, and I was writing lyrics, and kind of just exploring the idea of being a solo artist. The I am strongly influenced by people who are songwriters, people who people who have a very strong lyrical core. Um, um, and I ki- and I kind of and I wait, sorry.
You're okay.
Um,
I'll take while you're taking a moment. I was watching a live video of you from 2023 in Boulder, and I was
mhm,
trying to come up with how I would describe you, and it's hard
mhm,
because like there's you kind of a spoken word poetry at times,
mhm,
and then at one point I was like, "Ooh, this is kind of like Rage Against the Machine without the
mhm.
outward hatred." Um,
Yeah.
but it's kind of hard to like you can't pigeonhole you and say he is this kind of artist because you really
Mhm.
aren't.
No, I mean, uh, so I have been always heavily influenced by people that wrote lyrics that kind of sat above, um, the instrumentation and the sound. I mean, I kind of started to have this really great love for lyric for I kind of started to have this great love for primarily primarily a lyric, a writing, um and it kind of it kind of it it kind of start it kind of started off small as just me just like creating songs, just simply for the hell of it, just to write. But I kind of got more into the process, and I was also influenced by the mu- I was also influenced by the people that I loved and by the people and by the people that heavily interest me, and it kind of grew into more of kind of into into a more sort of its own thing. I mean, I believe that lyrics and kind of that raw poetic feel is something that I think is what you start with a song, and it's the last thing that people remember is the final or the very first words. It's people. I have a feeling that people remember more the words than, and they kind. Uh, I have a feeling that people kind of have this. People always. Uh,
The lyrics themselves are what stick out, and the music is
yeah,
kind of the background that helps with the feelings.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I I think that there is such a great power with how lyrics are, and with using the right words can invoke such raw and intense emotions, and it can it can have a very deep and intense power over people. um
I the song that we're going to feature tonight, the Guns for the Children. When I first read the title, I was like, "What?" And then when I read the background on it, which I'll let you talk about a little bit later, it like it's very powerful, to use the word that you were just using. In fact, I was talking about it earlier on the phone with the gentleman who runs or owns music from the 412, and my daughter overheard, and she's like, "Wait, what? This sounds like something I want to check out." So my my 14-year-old daughter will be checking out your music momentarily.
Awesome. um I guess you would know. I mean, the Guns for the Children kind of came out of a bit of a shock for me. I mean,
A
I
fairly
came to America.
fairly recent shock, right?
Well, sort of. I mean, so I mean, I've been coming to the US for quite some you for quite some a time, because I have family here, and
Let's pause for a second to
since
fill everybody in. So Lago was born and raised in Rome, Italy. So when he's going to tell you about shock, it's about coming to the U.S. and
Mhm,
also fluent in Italian and doing a great
mhm,
job in English. So
mhm.
I
Well,
parla d'italiano di piccolo with a really bad accent.
I mean, well, so so actually, so to expand on that point, so I was so my parents are Italian, and then also so actually so I have a Italian mother, and then also I have an American a father. So I was always kind of so I always kind of grew up with speaking both. Um, so I kind of grew up speaking both, language. I grew up speaking both languages at home. Um, so so English is kind of primarily, like, I would consider, like, one of my first, languages. But y- but uh, and like okay. So obviously I had come to the US several times, but there was this singular trip that I took when I was in the US. I think it was roughly, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years ago, but I remember sort of heading into this Walmart. Um, and and like you've got all of all of like the usual aisles. I am I don't quite remember exactly where I was in the US. I think it could have been Frisco or somewhere else, but um, I remember distinctly having seen. I re it, it's like such a surreal image. I was heading down the toy aisle with my mother and sister. And I remember distinctly that in front there was the gun section. Um, and that kind of, I mean, it shocked me. It's something that stuck to me, and it it never really left. It was an image that I think, I mean, it- look, I mean, first off, just the fact of seeing um, handguns and um, handguns and shotguns and just all these ammo, and just seeing that in a grocery store or in like a it that was already a shock for me, because we don't have that in South Italy. I don't think I've ever seen a gun store inside of Italy in my life. That section, and especially since it was right next to the toy section, I don't know, it really shook me. It really just it had an effect on it had such a profound effect on me, and it it was almost, I mean, like a realization of just, because obviously I knew that you could purchase a gun within the like US, but I didn't know how, I mean,
Readily
just
available.
how widely available. I mean, for me, the concept that someone can head into a grocery store, purchase some milk, some cereal, and a shotgun just boggles me. It really struck a chord to me. So afterwards, I kind of kept thinking about it, and create. I wanted to I wanted to create a song that reflected what I was feeling at that time, and henceforth, Guns for the Children came out, and it's and then also a secondary thing that shocked me also from heading into the US, that also inspired this song was it's and remember just seeing the amount of news, just like the amount of like just the amount of news on school shootings, and just shootings that just happen in the most just in the most everyday places. It really struck a chord to me, because I mean, it shocked me. I was, baffled. So Guns for the Children it's sort of a way for it was sort of a way for me to express my message, and to express the point of, like, I mean, of just I mean, we are openly advertising guns, and they're so and like they're so,
Like
they
it's
are so
it's part of the norm here. Like it
yeah,
doesn't phase us. I will tell
yeah.
you that I teach school, and I've
Mhm,
been teaching for 20 years, and over the past, say, 10 years,
mhm,
we've had to have it. We've gone through a
mhm,
ton of training because of exactly what you're saying, where just,
mhm.
there can be no reason at all, and somebody comes into the school and with a weapon. And
Yeah,
so I
and
completely shocked here myself, but for
mhm.
a different reason. But still, the
Yeah, no, no.
ultimate cause is the fact that the guns are readily available.
Yeah, and then and I mean, yeah, mm, and yeah, it's I mean, the I think that, personally, that um places like schools and places like convenience stores and gyms and just stadiums, they should be safe. You shouldn't have to walk through a child shouldn't have to walk through a metal detector just simply to get to their science class. I mean, it shouldn't be that. It's and that's kind of what, and I'm a that's kind of what, I'm a and it's kind of what this song is, it's all about. It's if we keep going through this, and if we keep having all of, like, and also, I mean, if we keep having all of these all of these all of these widely available, you know all these widely available weapons, it's just not going to end well. It's not going to end well for anyone. It's just going to breed violence. It's going to it's going to cause, and then actually it's all and then and naturally it's already causing harm, and peop, harm to, not to not to to not just the kids, but also just to the families, and just the school, and just everyone that has to just go through. It's a horrendous sort of, like, it's in it's a it's it's in it's in epidemic. I mean, I find it's horrible.
So I'm gonna switch off, and we're gonna get a little
Yeah,
lighthearted now. Um,
yeah.
so we did the song part first. Now I'm gonna ask 3 questions, and I have a question
Hmm.
that I ask on my other podcast all the time. Um, it's my
Hmm.
unofficial build to scene question, and I'm curious to see what your answer will be because you've been both in Italy and in the United States. And the question is, what is the best pizza you've had because you're a musician? So it has to be like at a recording session or on your way to or from a show, or maybe you ate at a venue that you were playing at. And I'm really hoping you're going to tell me a place in Italy. But if it's in the U.S., so be it.
Um, I guess like the best, pizza I've had was there's this place inside of Italy which I usually head to. It's super close to it's close to where I used to go for for like for my like primary school. It's kind of tucked in like a small little alleyway. Yeah, it's super. Yeah, it's great food. It's super simple, really great food. Yeah,
Um, do you know the name of it?
I I think it's called Il Bare Straro.
Very cool. I tell people someday I'm going to go to all of these pizza places. I probably won't make it to that one.
I mean, well, it's super, close to the, center. It's yeah.
So we're gonna watch your video in a little bit,
Hmm.
and I was reading your one sheet, and it mentions that your father is a well-known American director that has
Hmm.
won awards for music videos, and I'm curious,
Hmm.
did he have any input on your video, or did you go elsewhere?
He is the one that directed my music video. He's the director of the video. Um, but wait a second. But by input, do you mean did he have any was he an inspiration or by?
Like, um, how much how much freedom did he give you, or like was it your idea? Was it his idea?
Oh no, no. I mean, we had. I mean, I had a complete freedom. I had a complete freedom. I mean, I I had the freedom to kind of perform how I wanted it to perform. Okay, look, now obviously I mean, you know, it, since he's kind of putting his director hat on, he made me no sorry no like not made me but he advised me on like little small the changes here and there, but the video was it was actually inspired by there is this film on or like a documentary sort of thing which is called what was the name? It was called I think it was called yeah one more time with feeling, and it's a documentary on Nick Cave. And in that video, there were kind of like these beautiful lights that like the crew had set up in the in the in the background of while he was singing, and the camera was kind of fixed on a like a little circle, it was kind of fixed on a circle,
So it's like a
dolly.
360-degree view of
Yeah,
him performing.
it's yeah, it was just circling him, and I just always thought that like that image was was super interesting. It conveyed a lot of it con it was it conveyed a lot of emotions. I mean, like just simply from the lights. It was visually it was incredibly appealing, and it was something which inspired us to kind of create this sort of wall create this sort of wall of light that is happening behind this performance, you know.
I I do
So
I do a little bit of concert photography, and I
mhm,
selected this shot of you specifically
mhm,
because when you go black and white, the emotion, like you can really see emotion. And
mhm,
anytime I have a
yeah,
shot that I'm like, wow, there's so much emotion in there, I automatically go black and white. When I saw this one, I was like, I really hope there's a story behind this, and it fits into what you're describing exactly.
yeah. No, no. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think I personally, I've always liked, black. I've always liked black and I've always liked, black and I've always, liked that black and white aesthetic. I mean, growing up, a lot of the a lot of the photographers and the sort of the films and and just I mean like just simply it just simply the simplicity of that just got to me. I I think I think it's a great I think it's a great medium, and I think it also it works for the type of songs and and the type of kind of the type of words that I like to write. Um,
So that's
yeah.
my third question is going to be about your writing. Um,
Hmm.
so this week I've been working with first graders, and I've been teaching them about color. And today we were talking
Hmm.
about the emotion of colors, which, by the
Hmm.
way, is hard to talk to first graders about. But that
Hmm.
was what I was doing. Um, so you're a poet and a visual artist and a singer
Hmm.
songwriter. How, like, when you come up with an idea, like, do you know immediately I'm going to write a song about this, or like, is there sometimes where you're like, maybe this will be better in a poem form, or
Hmm.
oh, I could convey this on a canvas or whatever your medium is of choice. Like, how do you decide where it's going to end up?
I mean, well, that's kind of tricky. I my my sort of um creative flow, I think we can call it my creative flow. It it's it is a bit tricky. So there are times there there are times um when I kind of think of immediately like what the song is about, what I'm gonna write. I mean like for instance, for Guns for the Children, it was a pretty straightforward thing. I knew exactly what I was going to I knew exactly what the subject is, and I knew exactly the kind of imagery that I wanted to pour that I kind of wanted to put within 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 this song. But with a lot of my more recent work, um, my words and lyrics, they kind of just they they kind of flow in a more abstract term. I might start the song with writing about a single subject, and then like by by like the by like the by line 4, it might completely you know change. Started to get re I've I've started to get really into juxtaposition like in my in my songwriting. But 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 also I started to also but also I mean I always love it when a song tells a story or has a precise sort of like message that you want to carry on and push forward. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a bonus question.
Mhm.
I said I was sticking to 3 questions in a song and doing 3
Oh, good.
questions, but my last question for you is so everything I've heard from you is in English.
Mhm.
Do you perform with Italian or is it usually English, and how do you make that decision?
It's primarily English. When I'm performing here or in the or in or inside of Italy, I prefer to speak in English because primarily because my songs are in English. And so if I'm having to talk in a separate language, it might throw me off. So I don't I ch- I tend to primarily speak English. I mean, okay. Now obviously there are times when you know when I grab a song and and I and I and I and I and I might change it into Italian, but that's become a bit more rare for me at this very moment because it's just it it ruins the flow of the song. And I also, it's also tricky to find the the right piece and like the right line or the right chorus or the right you know a verse to put that in. So yeah, I mean sometimes, but most of the but yeah, but most of the time, no.
Okay, so this is just a statement. So when I read the one sheet and I saw that your first name was Lago, um, in
Iago,
oh, is it an I?
Iago. It's yeah, Iago.
Oh, I'm sorry. It looked like an L.
Oh, it's all good. Oh no, I always it's a capital,
Okay,
a
that
capital I,
that changes what I was going to say then, because I looked it up. I was trying to figure out what it might mean,
and it
and
means lake, right?
yeah, that's yeah, I which is what it means in Spanish too. And I have a Spanish minor,
Oh,
but my accent in that is really bad too. But all right, well,
hmm,
I want to thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
yeah, yeah, of course.
And for those of you that are listening to us and haven't been watching the video, the website is thespikes.org. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a moment and we are going to listen to Guns for the Children. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us, and check us out at buildthescene.com, musicfromthe412.com, and go check out thespikes.org.